You get a sense of pride from that and a sense of ownership. You go, how good am I at doing this? But then you sort of jump past that point. You realize when you get specialists and you go, oh no, I was about 70% because I was spread thin across everything else. These other people, as they come in and can just concentrate on that one area. That's when the magic in a business happens. And that's what I always try and find for everyone. Everyone in the business has an area where they add more value and get more enjoyment from that role than anything else. So try and clear away everything that detracts them from doing that and let everyone operate in their area of magic. Once that kind of happens, it stops being a job or it stops being, oh crap, I got to get up or it's Monday. And then all of a sudden everyone goes, yeah, I'm firing because I want to contribute in this one area that nobody else is good at.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of More Clients, Less Effort. I am joined by the amazing Nigel Walton today. Now, if you don't know Nigel, he's part of a successful SME team for the past 20 years, growing multiple entities across different sectors, from bootstrap startups to sale events. His diverse range of responsibilities and roles have given him a unique insight into the challenges and opportunities experienced by today's SME business owner. Please welcome to the show, Nigel Walton from Philotimo.
That is such a valued attempt, Tim. Thank you for having me. Philotimo, or
Philotimo.
Philotimo, yeah.
Philotimo, okay, almost pronounced that correctly. Philotimo.
It's the first test. When I first went out and was starting to sell things under the banner, very Australian response was, so who's Phil and who's Timo for it, which was compounded by the fact that my business partner's name is Tim. So
Is it really? I've never been called Timo. I get Tim a couple of times.
Yeah, and no, I think they couldn't wrap their head around the foreign language. So they just went, so one of you must be called Timo. And I had emails where people knew my name, but they would actually just go, dear Phil, this.
Let me ask the question. It is a Greek word, philotimo. What does it mean?
See, that's a very simple question with a very long answer because it doesn't actually translate into any other language. So philotimo is a core tenet of Greek culture. You ask any Greek person, you go, where's your philotimo? And you will get a very strong response for them because you've just asked them why they're not being a good person, essentially. So if you break down the word, philotimo essentially means honor your friend or honor your neighbor. So, or for love of honor. So you can put all the honor as the core part to it.
Yep.
Essentially in our space, in this SME management consultancy space, we want to be known and we hold ourselves to account in, we have to put the client first, put our people in front of us so that everyone else wins before we do. So it just gives us a really easy decision-making process going, are we showing philotimo in our actions? If not, change them, get back on the horse and do it properly, essentially.
I really like that. I think it's one of those things that even if you just look at the name of a business, if you've embedded your purpose or values into the name, it's very difficult to then kind of move away from those in terms of your value.
Oh, you are locked in stone. Like you, at any point, if you slightly deviate, you hold yourself to account before anyone else does.
That's right. We're stuffed. Mate, you didn't start in business though. You started accidentally as a stand-up comic.
Very much in multiple senses of the word. Yes, I wasn't standing up to that. So
do you still have a sort of repertoire of jokes?
I never really had jokes that were that great to start with. So when I was I spent a lot of my time in musical comedy and improvisation. And improv was where that's the skill set that I've taken to everything. When you're standing in front of a crowd of 1,000 people who are all about 8 drinks in without an idea of what you want to say and you've got to make them laugh, you get to learn to think on your feet pretty quick and not be attached to the outcome. So, so that's where...
Firstly, what happens from it, I guess, if you step up, it's okay, that's part of the process, right?
Yeah, we used to have a term, if you're going to fail spectacularly and fail quickly.
That's translated into your approach to business consulting?
100%. The fail spectacularly, not so much, but fail quickly.
Fail quickly, test.
Yeah. So fail quickly and have the data behind you to understand why you failed. It's really the core tenet. One of the things, we use a Formula One analogy in a lot of things that we do because we look at ourselves as the pit crew behind a business, and we talk about rubbing corners a lot. So unless you are in a Formula One car and you are rubbing those corners, you're not driving aggressively enough, essentially. If you're smashing into and totally in the car, you've gone too far. Yeah. But we're always looking to rub corners. And
within a few millimeters of the fence, you're really on the hot front.
Yeah, if you walk away with a few scratches and still be somewhere in the front of the pack or with a chance at the finish line, you're on track.
That really describes how I drive go-karts on the few occasions I do. I always come out with really sore hands, like a long Ronnie.
That desk grip on the wheel.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Okay. So we're doing this stand-up comedy routine around the place, and stand-up comics and improvs. It's not, unless you're at the top of your game, it's not really a career known for its ability to fund a meticulous lifestyle, right?
Yeah. Well, when I started 10 years, so I toured around the world, festival to festival, sleeping on couches. When you're sharing a couch with someone that the industry says is the best person and should be famous in year one, and you're still sharing that same couch in year 10, the journey, I was really lucky. I had someone that I respected greatly sort of sit me down after 10 years in, which is still a really junior kind of comic if you're looking to make a career out of it. But they kind of just sat me down and went, look, if you can think of anything you want to do half as much as this, go out and do that, because this is you are all in for the love of it, not for the outcome. And I realized for me, it's input needs to equal outcome. I didn't love it enough to spend the rest of my life sleeping on those couches. And all respect to the people that do, because they are all in all the time and they're living their perfect life. But that for me just wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where do you go? Where do you go from there? You've decided that you need some more reward for your effort.
Yeah.
And found yourself, I guess, doing personal training.
Yeah. Well, after 10 years.
Natural transition, right?
Living in a pub for 7 days a week, got pretty unfit. So decided, hey, I'll get myself a little bit fit at the other end. I'm not really good at hobbies. And this was at the height of the personal training craze. So I got myself fit, got myself accredited, ended up training trainers, how to be trainers, training fireys, how to pass the exam. Then it was probably the luckiest. It was one of those lucky breaks for me. I got tired of driving across town at 4:30 in the morning to train other people and went, I need somewhere closer to me. And right across the road, there was this little small group personal training studio where I went, oh, screw it. I'm just going to go across the road, see if I can get a job there. Walked in there. That's where I met my business partner. 3 hours after our first meeting, I tied my star to his. I just went, the business was okay at that point. You had it with a couple of other partners and it wasn't in the shape that it should be. But he, as a person, he's one of those standout people. And I went, mate, I'm aligned to whatever you want to do. And so ended up joining there, ended up owning half of that, growing it out to a few different gyms, selling it off. And then we've been partners, or I've worked for him, or we've worked together across multiple ventures since that time. So for me, business is almost secondary. For me, it's the partnership at the top end, because he's one of my partners on that side. I introduced him to his now wife, who's my other business partner on the other side. So for me, it's about delivering for them and for our family unit. The mechanism happens to be through a business lens.
Yeah. What do you think is different from that? I mean, I can see Philotimo really living in those values about how you treat those partnerships as well. We're in this together, whether or not we're actually related by blood. It was related by common cause and common.
Yeah, by choice. Yeah,
which is almost more valuable. I don't need this. I want it.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's been some of your wins? Okay, because you mentioned you tried a whole bunch of different things. Some of them obviously been more successful, and you've been able to turn those into saleable assets, which, as we both know, and many of our listeners will know, is something that almost seems a secondary thought in many cases. Right? And businesses don't sell as often.
Majority of them, yeah.
Yeah, I can't recall the number you told me last time we caught up. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a historical thing, for one. We're coming out of that baby boomer business era where when you started a business, there wasn't the thought of exit at the other end. It was create yourself a job. If you create yourself a job, yeah, you can have a great career and you can have a great business. But as soon as you extricate yourself from that, or try to, it has no value. So a lot of people have built businesses around themselves, and I hear it a lot, particularly from people sort of early going, I am my business. People want to buy from me. I'm the only one that can do this. And people kind of wear that as a badge of honor, where I go, well, if you can create a system behind how you deliver that, then that's a real business to me. And I'm not disparaging self-employment at all. But if you are looking for something to fund your retirement, unless you do a cash grab all along the way and squirrel it away and try and make investments in other areas, which I highly advise people do, because I don't think everyone has the business is going to be everyone's nest egg. Not everyone has the risk profile to go all in all the time to create something that's going to generate a real sale event for you. Yeah, you might get a bit of a sale and enough to fund you for a couple of years, but I'm of the opinion now, I'm sort of getting on in my career. If I'm going to go for an event, I want that event to give me the choice to do absolutely everything I want.
So when we're talking event, we're talking sale event. that is of an order of magnitude that you can spend the rest of your life doing whatever the hell you want. Not, here's $1 million and you're like, oh shit, I now need to ration this for the next 15 years.
Yeah. And the other side of it is getting a sale event that's a clean one as well, not being because you're so intrinsic to the business that you get locked into a really long earnout. Because seeing somebody work in a business that they used to own, you can kind of see the light go out of their eyes.
Yeah, it's like,
and I hate that.
It's really shit. My vision is to read not yours anymore. Actually, there is a conversation that comes up quite a bit on this show and the conversations I've had where the business owner hasn't been able to make that clean exit at the point of sale and that sale event. And they're tied to it for a year or 2 years or 3 years. Heaven forbid it's 5 years. And it may have been because that was part of the deal. It may have been because it was a vendor finance arrangement. But I think those things largely come around because you haven't structured the business in a way that almost enables or facilitates that big sale exit.
Yeah, when we're talking, and I'll only ever talk in that SME space because I've never had a corporate experience, thank God, never want corporate experience or that enterprise kind of level. But where I've seen, and I'm always the pointy edge of the sword, so because I sit right at the front end, I'm talking with new suppliers, new clients, those kind of things. Where I found over the last kind of 9 years is that SME business owners are really good at the organic growth part of growing a business. It's where they're technician-led businesses, so really good at the product they offer, the thing that they sell, the widget that they make. They've been so good at it that friends, fools, and family kind of buy from them, they refer on, and all of a sudden they Frankenstein this business around them. But with that, there's a leveling point to the top end, that glass ceiling, that organic growth. Every rule that you've gotten will get you to that point, but then that's what will keep you in place. Because
what do you think that point is? By the way, a number attached to it?
For certain industries, yeah. Digital marketing agencies is around that $1.1 to $1.2 million mark, because that means that there's a team of, say, 4 to 5 underneath the owner of the business. The owner's still orchestrating everything through the business and involved in a lot of it. Everyone in there is unicorns. So they're doing a bit of advertising, they're doing a bit of marketing, they're doing a bit of cleaning. But that kind of role, which is absolutely essential to build your business. But after that, you can't move past that point where you need a second layer of management to protect the owner. And then everyone needs to become specialists or semi-specialists in those areas. And most people they lack the love of the business behind the love of their product and the knowledge to actually move over to scale.
Yeah. And that's that transition from being the doer in the business to being the manager, or being to being the manager. Right? And there's plenty of sort of seminal texts that you can go, books you can go and read to learn more about that. But you're absolutely right. People start as a technician. I started as the technician. I'm sure you started as the technician as well.
Yeah. Every single one of them.
We were the person that had fingers on every single pie and every single client meeting and every single. And
you get a sense of pride from that and a sense of ownership. You go, how good am I at doing this? But then you sort of jump past that point. You realize when you get specialists and you go, oh no, I was about 70% because I was spread thin across everything else. These other people, as they come in and can just concentrate on that one area. That's when the magic in a business happens. And that's what I always try and find for everyone, is everyone in the business has an area where they add more value and get more enjoyment from that role than anything else. So try and clear away everything that detracts them from doing that and let everyone operate in their area of magic. Once that kind of happens, it stops being a job, or it stops being, oh crap, I got to get up, or it's Monday. And then all of a sudden everyone goes, yeah, I'm firing because I want to contribute in this one area that nobody else is good at.
Yeah. But systemized in a way that person can be replaced like a cog.
100%.
If you need to.
Planned obsolescence.
Yeah. Documentation is key, right? Talk to me about a system that you guys use inside your business. How do you approach this? Because I think you touch on 2 points, right? The goal of business is to create one of two things, and overarching is profit for yourself.
There we go. Beautiful.
Right, profit for yourself, and hopefully some good customer outcomes that allows you to keep producing profit for yourself. But yes, if we're looking at the sort of broader goal of business, we're either going to stay at whatever size we're comfortable with for our lifestyle business.
Yep.
And we need to make it profitable enough that we can squirrel some money away out of it and reinvest into other assets that ultimately grow our wealth. Or we're going to build it to a point where the business is the exit and the business becomes our superannuation fund.
Yeah.
Which, or for our American listeners, the 401k, the business becomes the 401k plan. So when you sell it, you'll have all this money that hopefully you'll get to keep some of it and before the government takes it all. Best case scenario, we're doing both. But tell me about how you guys approach that in philotimo in terms of your marketing machine? Because I've sort of arrived to this thing recently that a business valuation really comes down to three key factors, right? One is the profitability of the product or service you provide.
Yep.
Right. Second thing is how much of the business owner's time is involved in producing that thing. And the third thing is how much revenue can I ensure into the future?
Yes.
Okay. So my sales and marketing engine, how efficient is my sales and marketing engine at producing future revenue or future clients?
Yeah, we kind of call that, what story is the business creating for the buyer? Can they see the ending, or can they see at least 5 or 6 chapters down the road to invest in it? So from us, we're very simplistic in how we kind of approach it. We don't overcomplicate most things. And I think across every area of the business, one of the things that we operate on is, and it's quite commonly known across many of these books, but is the theory of constraints. What is the biggest constraint in every single part of the business, or each division of the business? Focus all energy and attention on that, because any work that's done before the constraint only increases pressure on the constraint. Any work that's done after the constraint is an illusion. Makes us feel better, but we're not fixing anything. So for us, data is key in everything that we do. We want to analyze each part of the business, find where the constraint is, and then apply the theory of compounding effort against it. So in each division of the business, you've got probably 5 drivers. Overall, let's just keep it really broad at the top. Overall, the business has 5 profit drivers, let's say, or growth drivers. You need the data to identify what those 5 drivers are. You need the market data to identify what order they need to be activated in. And then what we aim for is a 3 to 5% or 3 to 10% increase across each of these drivers. So as we pull those levers, even at a 3% increase across, and I always use sales as an example because that's how I go, well, if you had 100 leads come into the business in a year, with concerted effort, focus, and the right strategy behind it, can you get 103? Yeah, pretty much.
You'll be able to, right?
Yeah, and that's consistent effort, but you get 3% across these 5 drivers, the business will naturally grow by 27% each year, sustainably, predictably, and you can create that story really well. And as long as you're tracking the data, as soon as you see dips in it, where the constraint is in any of those systems, and then you can focus your attention on using the sales process as an example. You've got 7 stages in that process. Where are we falling down? Let's focus our attention there and do an A/B test. But just do one thing different, see if we can change the outcome. Whereas most people, because we're very reactive and we've got so much going on, they'll go, oh, sales are down, the process doesn't work. Either fire the salesperson or change the sales process. There's so many variables in there that you don't know what's going to work, and it slows you right down. Whereas we'll look at it and go, well, no, you've got an 80% conversion right up until proposal stage. What are we doing here where you drop to 20%? What are we doing here that we can do different to get a different outcome? And while we're doing that, keep filling the funnel at the top end. So that
don't turn it off.
Yeah, 100%. Never turn it off.
Right? Don't turn it off. That's one of the things that I see sometimes, right? Not all the time, but certainly there's business owners out there that think things are tight, I'm going to turn my marketing off.
Yeah.
Because it becomes the optional thing. I've certainly spoken to accountants who view marketing and sales activity as an optional expense. Right? Let's just stop doing that because that's expensive. And yeah, it is, right?
From their perspective.
From their perspective, right? Marketing is an expense into your business, right? It should be viewed as an investment into your business, right? Because it is the oxygen that feeds everything else. But I think you're absolutely right. Having those metrics in place across whatever those drivers happen to be for you, and analyzing them and say, well, where are the gaps in my customer journey?
Yeah. Where's the optimization?
Is it I'm not getting sales because my website isn't converting? Or am I not getting sales because my website is converting, but my salespeople aren't following up? Or I'm just not driving enough traffic there in the first place, in which case I need to either change what I'm doing or apply a different thing. You and I met through BNI.
Yep.
How often do you see the effort-based marketing activities excluded from any kind of analysis?
A lot. There's again, SMEs, referrals are king, and that's where most businesses grow. But there's a difference between reactive and proactive referral systems. So the reactive is where I think a lot of people, they play because they're wherever their goals are or whatnot, they do a good job and someone will think about them when they think about them and refer to them. And that's enough to kind of keep it going and make you feel good about your sales. But where I see people shift and go, well, let's map out the customer journey and go, where can I actively ask someone at the right time to refer them to somebody else to help them? And that's how we always kind of approach it. It's not about a sale. It's about how can we help the next person? Because if we've done good by you at this point, then surely you've got someone else in your business community that you want to do good by, because we've all got friends here, and they're generally somebody else that owns a business, because we tend to flock together because no one under pressure. But I think BNI is perfect in that kind of example, because it's actually, I refer to it, and I mean it really respectfully, it's kind of like networking high school. It's, here are the rules to follow, here's the accountability, show your work to teacher, but it provides a really nice leveling playing field between those that are more experienced to actually really flourish in there, but those that are younger in business or on that business journey to understand the right steps sales process, like how to give a good referral, how to actually manage that relationship through. Because there's a difference between someone going, oh, here's someone's number, and someone else going, hey, I booked a lunch for us. I'm going to sit you down beforehand and I'm going to tell you exactly why I think you guys should work together and the angle that I believe that you should come in with, and then help facilitating that relationship through. And that's a big jump. And that means that we're actually embracing that.
Well, it's building the system and the muscle inside the business, right?
Yeah.
Like any marketing activity, firstly, you need to put yourself in the right room.
Yeah. Which can be a challenge.
Whatever that room happens to be. Now, whether it's a BNI room, whether it's the sort of the metaphorical room in terms of a social media group or organization, whether it be an event that you happen to be at. If you're selling cornflakes, you don't want to put yourself in an emergency services event, for example, and you're going to find it very difficult to find. Oh, maybe not. It might.
Cornflakes are quite tasty, so
it might be okay. It might be okay. All right, but you've got to put yourself in the right room of buyers. And a BNI event, you're putting yourself in a room of people who also want to get and give referrals.
Yeah,
by extension, you're in the right room. Then you need a system to capitalize on that and make it work for you. And that's not going to be provided by BNI. That's got to be provided by you and the systems you have in your business. It's got to be measured and monitored and tracked and going, is this actually delivering the results? And if it's not delivering the results you expect, what needs to change? Do I need to change my pitch, or do I need to change the room?
And if you use BNI as an example, you see that kind of first year turnover for people that are new to BNI, where they've exhausted their pitch. Everyone that's going, because they're going for transactional referrals, everyone that's going to buy in the room has bought. Then they go, oh, I'm not getting as many sales anymore. I'm not getting as many referrals anymore. We go, well, you need to elevate that pitch to now, who are the people that you need to connect with that stand behind these people? Who are the gatekeepers to your clients? And that's where the real value of these rooms come from. That being in the right room is one thing. Knowing the conversation to have in that room is another thing as well. Because most of us have some of us have complex businesses. We've got multiple offerings and whatnot. I'm not going in and talking about investment or partnerships or AI in a BNI room. I'm going in and talking about, hey, we're in a place where everyone's after growth. This is the mechanism for growth. Everything else can come after that.
Let me take you back to the philotimo system, how you use. I know you get a lot of traction through referral at your Platinum One group. It's a fantastic group, split online, in person. So we'll share that link in the show notes if anyone wants to go along and visit Nigel at Platinum One BNI group. How do you apply that sort of analysis in your business? How frequently, what does it look like when you actually go and start to do that breakdown of your sales and marketing machine?
Yeah, you probably, with us being so data-driven and sales being under the banner, we run our sales department as a client of Philotimo as well, because we didn't for quite a while. And then we went, why are other people winning a lot quicker than us? Oh, they're following our system.
Maybe we should do that too.
Yeah. So essentially on a weekly basis, we're looking at returns of rooms, of events, of activities, and all our different funnels, and analyzing where the weakest point in it is. So
we're doing that weekly?
Weekly.
Monthly? Weekly. Okay. So every week, run a meeting, run your eye over the analytics, have the conversation saying what's working, what's not working.
Yeah. So we have 3 sales meetings a week, one at the start of the week, one in the middle, and then one at the reporting and reflection, so that we set up and ready for the next week. Because we've always got a fund there for experimentation, which I think we always need to try something new. Otherwise, we fall into the same patterns as everyone else. You go to a networking event because it's the one you're comfortable in. You're not getting the outcome. You go, oh, it's okay. I've gotten heaps of referrals from it before. But we're aggressive, and that means that every dollar that we spend in outreach or in these activities has a dollar amount attached to it. We've got to justify it. So we're looking at our LinkedIn outreach, what the return is from that, for what funnel and for what purpose. We're looking at our channel partners, going, how have we activated them correctly? Have we supported them correctly? What more do we need to do? Then our networking activities, because networking is a very big part of what I do, particularly because that's the space that I understand and flourish in. And go, but hey, are we having the right conversations in the right rooms? Is this still the right room for you? Do we need to change up who's standing in front of it for a different voice? But we'll go to the point of, because what we do is an at-need service, some people can see it as, and particularly in any networking room, there's a vast array of different people with different learning styles, with different backgrounds. So we'll go to the point where we map out what our core message is. And for 6 weeks, we'll attack that same core message, but from multiple different angles. So from an analytical point of view, from an emotional point of view, from a case study point of view, just so that that point gets to all the people in the room. And by the end of it, you can see that cycle starts to go, oh, okay, there's an education process, and then the right person will come up and go, hey, I finally understood what you do. Okay, can we have a conversation?
Yeah, that's it. First step, right? If no one understands, if they don't know who you are, they can't buy from you. If they don't understand what you do, they can't buy from you.
Yeah. But we all fall into that trap. You get up there every week and you go, well,
you're absolutely right. It's definitely a case of people just throw stuff at a wall and think, let's see what sticks. But without putting the data framework in to understand whether it's actually working or not, right? So you get this gut feel as a small business owner and say, I think this is working and I think this is where our business is coming from.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure what our cost of acquisition or average client value or all those kinds of stuff, those kinds of things. If I hear another person say to me, my average client value depends.
No, it doesn't.
Mathematical framework, guys. Average is the middle, right? I will pull what's left of my hair out, which is not very much. And that's maybe why I've gone bald. But I think you're absolutely right. How do you build the discipline to collect the data in the first place? Because we can't have this analysis without collecting the data in a usable.
Yeah, I'm the same as every other salesperson in that I hate putting in data and taking notes and reports and those kind of things. But essentially it was and for a long time I was a sole flyer, like a one-person salesman, work out everything in my head, those kind of things. And it worked in that organic growth stage. But then for us, the discipline came around because we've got lofty goals. We always ask the question, what about the 100? It's okay for Nigel or Joe, who's one of my other sales members. We trust you because you're invested in the business, you've been from it. But what about when we've got 100 salespeople? Will you trust them to do the same thing? And we are a small sales team. You can get overwhelmed really quickly. And where the need and the practice for me of actually getting the data in was because it enabled me, once we had it in place, and we got it in place pretty early on, but it enabled me to be able to go, I can focus on actions rather than outcomes, because if I track enough actions, I can predict the outcomes within sort of 10%. So I know how many phone calls, emails, proposals, and meetings each week I need to do to get within a budget range, which as a salesperson, particularly knowing when you can actually put the phone down and go enough for the day is key, because it can become all encompassing.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? I'm reminded of Oliver Twist. Please, sir, may I have some more? That's your business, right?
Yeah.
Because they will ask unapologetically for all of the time you have and then some.
Yeah.
Right? We could be working 24 hours a day, but we'd lose sight of the fact that the business is there to serve us, not the other way around.
Exactly. And you got to look at it holistically. But we're lucky in that because of where the types of people we are or how we approach it. Everyone in our business is invested in the business and wants to do more and more. So half of my job is going, no, this is enough to get us to exceeding where we want to go. Now take the time external to live your life and be a person, because otherwise it's a 2-year or 3-year engagement and people will burn out. And I don't want to use people along our way to success. I want to make sure that everyone that's with us now is with us when we do get that event at the other end, because they've put so much into it. And that comes from data. Go, no, put it down. We know there's going to be a sprint period coming up because we're about to hire 3 more people. That means every activity level is going to have to raise by 30% to cover the cost. So now, here, go home, spend time with the family.
What is it because that's not an easy thing to do, right? What sort of personal attributes or disciplines do people need to adopt to be able to do that analysis on whatever it is? Okay, and again, I don't care whether you're running TikTok ads, letterbox drops, sign writing on your car.
So I think it really is, it's 14 days or 21 days of hell, of learning the new, okay, no, at this time every day. And this is what we had to do because we're tracking through our calls and everything through our CRM. It's a simple thing as making sure that the CRM app is in the place of where the phone app used to be. So I call through there. So that immediately that changes. And that took 6 months for me to actually get into the right place, making sure that there's time allotted every single day to reflect on what you've done, make the notes if you have to, and then set up the next day. Because if you set up the next day, you can turn your brain off. But I think the most important thing is going, what you're trying to achieve, and knowing that people can only operate in sprints. We try and sprint for 10 years in a small business. We go, no. Let's get a quarterly theme. Let's get if that theme is data, then everyone's in on the game. Let's create, in our office at the moment, it's got spray painted everywhere. There's Nerf swords and bows and arrows everywhere because our theme is Be the Warrior this quarter because we're trying to achieve some big things, but everyone's in on the fun of it. And
I can absolutely say wear goggles for Nerf for swords. I have been shot in the eye before the previous office where
we do keep coming back to Nerf guns. I think it's just because we want to shoot each other all the time. But it's creating the fun around it rather than the heaviness of data, because data actually frees you. It's just getting into the habit of doing it.
Let's pivot, mate, because I think that's absolutely valuable, and so many bombshells there that I think people should be kind of just revisiting on a regular basis. Keep coming back to it, be more data driven. 2 reasons: A, it'll be more profitable, a good money out, and B, you're actually building an engine in your business that makes it more attractive for that big exit event.
Yeah.
If you have these things, it won't be attractive.
But even at the bottom level, it's just time. It creates time for you. You stop doing the unnecessary.
Yeah. How big is your team now?
So at the moment, we're a team of 13, 14? 14. Yep. Mostly in the consultancy space, but then we've got a dev team in, and we've got our sort of senior team that are running other parts of the business, such as investment and whatnot from that end.
And as I know, lots of kind of parties or partners that you bring in on a case-by-case basis. What do you think are the keys to building a great team?
Areas of genius. Understanding that the right person for a role might not be the right person for the business. So it's about the Lego or the Meccano set. You have to put the right personalities together that have the right areas of genius. So using it as an example, we've just gone through a series of testing with the entire team and found out that in all of our sales team, one of the points of energy or that take energy is finishing. It's the actual completion part. We're great to 80%, but we've got a sales team that doesn't like the last 20%. So
let's do it in sales teams.
So the next hire in there needs to be someone that wants to be the close, wants to finish the projects and all of those kind of things in there. So it's about assembling the right combination of personalities and skill sets together. But also at the base end of it, everything we've had people, because we do a pretty attractive offer to the traditional consultant. Because if you come out of PwC or whatnot, you can essentially map out the next 40 years of your life, knowing exactly when you'll get the pay raise, knowing you got to join the run club at lunchtime, all those kind of things to get where you want to go. Here we offer a really attractive kind of way to get rich but make other people rich first and have a balanced life. But that skill set gets people right to the final thing. And we've got an interview process that lasts 3 or 4 different interviews. But unless they hit the end and they pass the values test, they're out. It doesn't matter how good they are at what they do. If they're not values aligned 100% to what we do, they cannot enter our building. And I think that should be the core thing for any group, because particularly in SMEs, where average is sort of 5 employees and below, one person that's a grind in the gears is going to throw off the entire machine. And it almost disrespects the core people that are there. Yeah. So values for us is the key part to it, and then aligning the right people and right skill sets together.
On that, how important do you think it is to do DISC or Myers-Briggs or extended DISC profiling of your sales marketing people?
Combination of all of those different things, I think, is vital if you're looking for a high-performing team, because those, depending on what it is, and we use something called the areas of genius, which I've referred to before, but we've used Myers-Briggs and DISC, knowing how those communication styles and whatnot, and knowing their dominant personality. You don't want a team full of alphas. It's never going to work. You might get results, but it's going to be contentious along the way. So knowing who you're putting together on an actual level rather than just what we present in an interview.
What is your dominant style, and how do you think that helps you as leading your sales team?
I am an I as dominant style. I'm not the leader in my team. I've chosen not to be because I don't think it is my skill set. I've made sure that we have the right person to lead and build the channels. and build the team around us, because that's where he sits and loves that team aspect. For me, mine is about interpersonal relationship. It's really the epitome of that farming and care for clients. So I purposely put myself in not the chief position because I don't believe that I should be there. And our CEO is the same. He's gone, I'm CEO for now. I'm not CEO for when we're at this point, because that's not what I want to do, and it's not where I want to play, not where I'm going to be best playing.
It takes a lot of courage to actually put another CEO in charge of the business, doesn't it?
100%.
Should. What do you think is a common myth about business consulting that you passionately disagree with?
Well, a myth about business consulting. In this space, there's a lot of sole operators that can solve every business issue that is under the sun. I don't believe anyone is smart enough to solve everything. That's why we put a hive mind around people. Because combined, we can solve that. That and obviously, there's no silver bullets in business. There's a couple of out-of-the-box ones, which just happen to look like silver bullets, but there's years of work that go behind it. I think it's about consistent effort in every single area and trying for, as I said, those 3 to 5% increases.
Yeah, so true. So true. Let's do this one. What's an underrated tool do you think's indispensable for your job?
Probably a complete contrast to what I presented here, but not talking as much. I think the actual listening rather than active listening, and the ability to put yourself in the other person's shoes.
Biggest pet peeve?
Pushy salespeople.
If you had to write a book tomorrow, what would you write about?
What would I write about? I would write about tying my star to somebody else's rocket and riding it all the way to success.
Right, last question before we wrap up. What do your parents think you do?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'm not sure if they know what I do or they think when I do. They're just glad I don't do comedy anymore. So,
right, on that note. Hi, Mum and Dad. I hope you enjoyed that joke. Mate, thanks so much for joining us on today's show. Guys, if you want to know more about the work that Nigel and the team do at Philotimo, you can go and check them out at philotimo.com. That's philotimo.com. We'll put the link in the show notes for that as well. You've got some course stuff up there as well, mate, which is a membership community as well. philotimo.thinkific.com/memberships/community. Again, we'll put that link in the show notes as well. Go and jump over to the Philotimo community. Super awesome people, really purpose and values driven, and I know the work you do with your clients, mate, is absolutely exemplary and the foundations to what ultimately it makes a more successful business for everybody involved with it.
Thanks, Tim. Really appreciate you having me on, mate.
Guys, if you enjoyed today's show, we'd love you to like, subscribe, follow. Please share it with someone who can get value from this episode. There was an absolute ton of bombshells from Nigel today. Definitely think about putting those in your business in some way. It doesn't even need to be as mature a solution as what Nigel was describing. Just start and you will see the results in due course. That's all for today. We'll catch you next time. Ciao for now.